drum. So just like cue the music for me. Just leave.
Era sana mpondi.
Piga wale unafika pondi.
When Sharafka no fika. That's what I'm about to the studio.
Oh, this is when you're about to leave the studio. Where were you recording?
So our studio is in Ibex.
Oh,
but it's one of those studios where it's not really open to the public, so we're still self-isolating.
But
yeah. After ngwachaka 2 weeks quarantine, kagobacha ule munapuna ngubamwe yokutokusumisha okusaingira.
Because me, I'm in the Copper Belt, by the way. I'm in the Copper Belt. So long days ago.
Yeah.
So when I finished already from the quarantine. Yeah, I've been here for like 2 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't been in Osaka in 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah,
there's 2 more projects that I'm doing. So I've been going to the studio almost every day the last 2 weeks.
Okay. If you see one or 2 things, we need to, quarantine for the for so long time. So I think first thing is just I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, but I know you're always holding it down for your brother, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. Like I don't remember the last time we met. Like one woman, I think like this. Apart from what you told me, like what have you been doing? How have you been keeping yourself in the quarantine?
Yeah, so it's mostly home and studio, but of course we have to eat, so we have to make to my other necessary movements. But also, as artists, I keep saying this: every person has to play a role in the fight against COVID. So as artists, we have this mandate to disseminate information, to educate people, to inspire people, and to just, keep the faith, to help people keep hope or have some sort of hope.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously I've been part of like 3 or 4 projects that are like Corona songs or sensitization projects.
I saw one video. I saw one dope video. I think I've seen that on Instagram. So I have something that's been bothering me. I want to find out, how do you deal with certain people that you feel they need help. Like I'm talking about people that are in the industry, like artists. You feel they need the help to push them because they're talented, but then you're not in a capacity to help them. Like, how do you respond to such people?
There's one famous man, one wise man who said, you can't help the poor if you're one of them. Okay. That sort of thing. And it stuck to me. Even up to now, it's something that I ponder upon. You know what I mean? Like, you can't help the poor if you're one of them. And I have always, because I'm a Christian, you know what I mean? And I grew up in a home where I believed, like, there's this verse in the Bible where there's this woman who gave, like, a coin when other people were giving, like, lots of money and ABCD, and she gave a coin. And, yeah. And Jesus said, that woman right there has given the most. Giving is dependent on, how much you have. So if I have 1 million kwacha and then I give 50 pin, it's not as much as someone who has 60 pin and gives 50 pin, that sort of thing. Yeah, so I grew up in a way where, like, I didn't really need to have everything for me to give, or I didn't really need to be, like, in a position of power for me to even help, that sort of thing. There are small ways that we can help. Even me, for example, I need help. You know what I mean? I have people who help me in so many ways. I've got sponsors, I've got financiers, I've got people who literally help me to pursue this music thing. But I know in my small ways, I can still help, that sort of thing. So sometimes it's just sharing someone's song or offering studio time or advice, or in my own small ways, I can still help. I don't need to be this international superstar for me to be like, oh, nomba pantampio kwa furisha kwa that sort of thing. So you need to strike a balance between feeling like, oh, I can't really help the poor if I'm one of them, but also like, hey, I'm privileged enough to be in this position where I can easily access ABCD, and it won't really take away anything from what I have if I help this guy with ABCD, that sort of thing. So it's always tricky. It's always tricky. Sometimes I feel like there are a lot of artists who are signed under my company, and I know for a fact, like, I would do way much more for those guys if I was in a better position, or if I was in this position, or if I was making this much money. But I can't wait for that time to happen for me to start helping, that sort of thing. So, I think people who've helped me get here, most of them are not even like very well-to-do people or millionaires. Are just people who had passion in what I was doing, and they helped. And I do the same thing. There are people who I believe like, hey, it is more quite a potential, and I help, that sort of thing. Not because I've made so much money that I can afford to do these things, but sometimes we even sacrifice, like the time that I'm supposed to be recording my stuff or spending money on my things, I would spend that time and money on the next guy.
That's interesting. Personally, I wouldn't really say there's been any artist, like new artist, that hasn't known about your legacy. You know what I mean? Like, you've been there since day one. You know what I mean? It's not something that's easy. It's not something easy. I've been a victim of. I've been a victim of being in a crowd where people are talking, this and that, no, shashan. But then, surprisingly, you are still here. You know what I mean? Like, you're still there. You're still relevant. How do you manage to keep up the relevance? Is it just the music, or there's something else?
Music is your love for music. The best music is made when you know it's a business and you treat it like a business, but also you really have love and genuine passion for the music. Okay. You must strike a balance between the business side of the music and the love side of the music, because you must love what you do for you to keep going and going and going. Yeah. You must love it. If it's all business and you don't care how you feel about the music, at some point it'll become like a regular job where it becomes hard to even wake up and do that stuff again. So what I've always done, regardless how many times I've switched up, because I believe I'm one of those guys who just refused to be boxed in. So I did like a lot of hip hop joints, a lot of Afro dance type songs. I even did like Kalindula songs and songs with the choir, ABCD, because I refused to be boxed in or for people to think I'm one thing. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make music. But even when I switched up and made all these types of music, I kept a bit of myself in there. So whether you listen to a Maka Aqualesa or Mamara Beka or a hip hop joint or me in the cypher, you can still just listen to like 2-3 lines and know this is Mark 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the love side. You have to keep a bit of you that you think like this is me in there. Then the rest of the stuff is business, where you know like, okay, apanomba pa soundi likoni. Oh, apanomba pe finger panga sensing fudinasta, so you know that sort of thing. Those are strategies that you put in place for the business side. If you strike a balance that's dope, it's easier for you to keep waking up and keep making music. And I think that's like one part or a very important part in remaining relevant is you still having some sort of passion and hunger to make music. Because once that dies, once the inspiration dies, it's hard for you to remain relevant. Because you're literally just pushing yourself. So that's one. Two is I've worked with so many people, and this is not a one-man job. You know, even just producers. I worked with Baska,
yeah,
Cream Dola, you know, rest in peace, my nigga Cream Dola. Cream Dola, Dice. When I noticed like, hey, Tony Breezy Chilepango Tuntu. Tony Breezy, he produced like that's a Mamara Baker song. He produced a song called Buana. He produced another song called You Don't Understand. When I noticed like, hey, apanomba panagwisa stash. Stash. Kumuleta mpepio stash panga ko ABCD. So even just artists, I've worked with so many young artists because I know like a lot of people feel like, okay, since now that I'm an established artist, I'm literally just helping or doing a favor for this new kid who's coming on the block. But the truth is, there are artists right now who know more about Jedi or Yo Maps and know nothing about artists like Danny or Chameleon or any of those guys. You know, that sort of thing. So you working with younger artists actually helps you tap into like a younger crowd. And I've done this throughout my career, you know what I mean? I've worked with young upcoming artists to emerging artists to just old school legends, you know what I mean? And that has helped me to still be relevant even today. And the last thing is, the industry is small, man. The industry is small, and to be in bad books with good date you know, that sort of thing. I believe the pie is big enough for all of us. You know what I mean? All of us you can have 10, 20 big artists in the industry. All of us can coexist. You know what I mean? So I've also tried to just be in good books with everybody. Sometimes I even go out of my way to do favors for people because I know like, hey, if this guy owes me, if he owes me, I'm in a good place because I might need this person tomorrow, you know, that sort of thing. So the sad part about our industry is a lot of the stuff is you have to try and it's try and error, you know, that sort of thing. You have to discover for yourself. Sorry, someone is calling me.
Okay, guys, so good stuff. I appreciate you. I'm glad. What's that conclude?
Yeah, so I was saying a lot of stuff is really, there's no orientation. There's no school that all of us went to know how to deal or how to handle the music business. All of us just had to learn. Even people who were in the industry before couldn't pass down that knowledge because one, it's a different time. You know what I mean? Social media wasn't that big in their time. Even just the way information is traveling now, it wasn't the same. Even the way you distribute or market the music is not the same. It's a mess. So all of us had to somehow adjust into this new time. The artists who came before us weren't experiencing what we're experiencing, so they can't really like tell us ABCD about food watch and so on and so.
Yeah.
But also, people respond differently to different artists. So, like, what worked for me is not going to work for the next artist. Yeah. So that artist needs to learn about themselves. They've been with themselves their whole life. So they know their weaknesses, they know their strengths. So every artist needs to somehow find time to study themselves and their market. And yeah. Really, that's just how I've somehow managed to do what I do even up to now, is just being observant, paying attention to details, and just not being afraid to try new things. Sometimes you know what I mean? And I can't say every decision I've made has been the right one or has worked out, but I haven't been afraid to fail. You know what I mean? Even you, obviously, you've heard some of my songs where you feel like, this is a weak song here. This is a weak song, but all those experiences have taught me so much, and I don't regret them.
Awesome. No, I think me on the perspective of an artist, I think I've seen your hustle. You know, I've had a couple of conversations with you. We've met. I remember last time you told me something about, we had a discussion. You told me something that even up to today, you know, I didn't realize the time you told me, but then I was going through a certain issue because I came to understand that sometimes in life, hope that you be with them even in the later future. There, you know what I mean? Like, these are people that have helped you, but for you to move a step, you have to leave them behind. So
exactly, yeah.
I got into an entanglement, and I remember we had a conversation about it. I'm like, so if you want to you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought